So in this video, we're going to be finding the area and perimeter of composite shapes. And all that means is that it's more than one shape stuck together. So if we look at this one here, we can see that it's actually a rectangle stuck together with a quarter of a circle. And we know how to find the area of a rectangle, and we know how to find the area of a circle. The only trick is that we're going to have to find the area of a circle with this radius and divide it by 4 because it's only a quarter of a circle. So that's something to watch. But the first thing we're going to do is find the perimeter. So perimeter. And we can't actually just find the whole thing at once because we need to figure out what this is, right? We need to figure out what this piece of the circle is because we can add up all the ones we know, but we can't find that one yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to find the perimeter of the circle. So I'm going to say PC for the perimeter of the circle, which is actually called, another word for that is the circumference. So the circumference of the circle is going to be equal to 2 pi r. And we can look here and we can see, okay, well, if this bottom is 10 and this top is 7, that means that this length in here, that must be 3 inches. So then r would be equal to 3 inches. So we'd say the circumference is going to equal, and actually we can just write c for circumference. The circumference is going to equal 2 pi times 3, which I got to be 18.84 inches. So if you had a full circle of this size that went all the way around, it would be 18.84 inches, but we only have a quarter of that. So we're going to have to divide it by 4. So a quarter of the circumference is just 4.71 inches. Now, we know what this arc is now. We know that this is actually 4.71 inches. So for our total perimeter, that's just going to be 4.71. So we've got that part. And now we just add up all the other sides. So plus 10, plus 7, plus 3. And that's going to equal 24.71 inches. And that's all we need to do for perimeter, right? We found how far it would be, if this shape was your yard, how far it would be to go all the way around the outside. So how much fencing you would need. You do not add up this middle part. Okay, that's a very common mistake, but you don't, because why would you, if this was the shape of your yard, why would you put a fence across here, right? That wouldn't make sense if it was your yard. So why would you do that when you're calculating the perimeter? Now for the area, let's see what we need to calculate. Okay, so for the area, and actually I'm just going to drag this picture down so that we can see it easier. So for the area, let's see. We still have a rectangle and a quarter of a circle. Okay, we know how to calculate the area of the circle, so it's going to say, let's just say AC is equal to pi r squared. And we know that this distance here is 3 inches. So we're just going to get pi times 3 squared, which is just equal to 28.26 inches squared. Now that's if that was a whole circle, but we only have a quarter. So we're going to have to divide that by 4. And that's going to be 28.26 divided by 4, which is 7.07 inches squared. So that is the area of this quarter of the circle. Okay? We still need to find the area of this rectangle. But thankfully, the area of rectangles is fairly easy to find. So let's see. So AR is equal to length times width, which is just equal to Let's see, we already found the area of this. We're not going to do 10 times 3 because that would be a rectangle of this full length. We need to do 7 times 3. So that's 7 times 3, which is equal to 21 inches squared. So our total area is going to be adding those both together. So 7.07 plus 21 is going to be equal to 28.07. And that would just round to 28 inches squared because we started out with two significant figures. So our total area is 28 inches squared, and our total perimeter was 24.21 inches. And that's how you do that. You just split them into different shapes, and then you figure out what each individual shape is. So let's go and do this one. Now this one's a little bit trickier, but let's see what we have here. So we have, and actually these lines really should go all the way up. Actually, I should use black. So these lines go all the way up. So on this side is 28 feet, on this side is 14 feet, and we don't know anything about the circle quite yet. So what do we have here? We have a couple shapes, and I think we have a trapezoid and then half of a circle. And that's cool because we know how to find the perimeter and the area of both of those things. So first let's do the perimeter. Okay, we're going to do the perimeter first. Now let's do the circle first. So the circumference of the circle is going to equal to 2 pi r. Remember, the circumference is just is what you call the perimeter of the circle. You would never say the perimeter of a circle, although I've said that before just to avoid confusion. It's actually called the circumference of the circle. So what we can get for the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r, and that's the formula, but we need to find r. So what's the radius? What we can do is look and see that if this side is 28 and this side is 14, and we know that all the way across is 70, we can actually find the diameter of the circle. So we can find what's all the way across. So we can go 70 minus 28 minus 14, and that's going to equal 28 feet. Okay, so all the way across here is 28 feet. So for the radius, I mean, we could use the other circumference formula, but I prefer this one. So for the radius, we're going to use 2 pi times 28 over 2, right? Because the radius is half of the diameter. So we're going to get 2 pi times 14, which is just equal to 87.92 feet. So for a circle this size that goes all the way around, to go all the way around the circle would be 87.92 feet, but we only have half of a circle, right? So we're going to find half of that. So we're going to have to divide the circumference by 2. So we're going to say 87.92 divided by 2 is just going to equal 43.96 feet. Because we only have half of a circle that we need to find. Remember, we're trying to find the circumference of half of a circle. So we need to find what that is so that we can find the full perimeter of the shape. And we found that. So all we need to do now is add up all the sides. So let's do that. Let's say the perimeter is going to equal 43.96, right? That's the circle part. And let's go around clockwise. So we're going to go plus 14, plus 24, plus 33, plus 36, plus 28, right? So we have 43.96 is the purple line, right, all the way around the circle, plus 14, plus 24, plus 33, plus 36, and plus 28. So our total perimeter is going to equal 178.9 feet. And you would just round that up to 179 feet because we don't have any decimals in any of our initial numbers. And that is the total perimeter. Now, what about the area? So for the area, we still have, and let me drag this picture down. So for the area, we have a trapezoid with a half of a circle. Okay, let's do the circle first. So the area of a circle is just equal to pi r squared. Okay, we figured out what the radius was up top, right? We found that the radius was 28 over 2, which is equal to 14. So if the radius is equal to 14, we can just say the area of the circle is equal to pi times 14 squared, right? Because the radius is equal to 14 feet. So all we need to do now is calculate this. So we have AC is equal to pi times 14 squared. We can just type that into our calculator and we're going to get 615.44 feet squared. Now we're not done because that would be if it was a full circle, right? We're not trying to find the full area, we're just trying to find the area that's sticking out of the trapezoid. So what we need to do is divide this by 2. So we're going to say AC divided by 2 is equal to 615.44 divided by 2, which is equal to 307.72 feet squared. Now we need to find the area of the trapezoid. So the area of the trapezoid is equal to A plus B times H over 2, right? That's just the formula straight out of your handout. So A plus B is 7D plus 33. Remember, it was the two horizontal sides. So this side, right now, we've already found the area of the circle. What we need to do is find the area that's inside this trapezoid, right? We need to find all of this area that's inside the trapezoid. And to do that, we're just going to have to use our equation to find the area of a trapezoid. So the height is this here. It's going to be 23 divided by 2. So all that's going to be, if you type this in your calculator, so what you do is add 70 plus 33, multiply that by 23, and then divide by 2, you would get 1,184.5 feet squared as the area of the trapezoid. Now we're not done because we found the area of the circle and the area of the trapezoid. What we have to do is add them together. So area total is equal to 1184.5 plus 307.72. And what that is 1,492 feet squared.